Hello and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Friday. It is August 21st, and we're going to be going over some races over at Del Mar for their Friday card. So let's get started where the turf meets the surf. And we're going to get started with a little bit of Bing Crosby to get the day started at Del Mar. So as Bing Crosby said, where the turf meets the surf down at Old Del Mar, that is where we were going to go. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to one of our loyal viewers, Dan H. Made a comment yesterday. I wanted to address that one. Great comment, Dan. Yeah, I tried that single in the late pick 5, in the first leg. It didn't work out, but it did lead to the pick 4. So I'm hoping that you played it. I'm hoping that the viewers played that late pick 4, just went with the same numbers after that single lost after the bad trip, because that pick 4 did come in. So hopefully you had it, Dan H. And I know one of our other listeners did write in. She had it. So way to go. And, as I said, at the end of every show, I mentioned if you don't want to play the pick 5 as is, you can always add or subtract, or you can play the pick 4, pick 3 within it. So hopefully you did that. And, kudos to you, Dan H. Thanks again for always being a loyal viewer. Let's get started here in the fourth race. I'm going to skip over the first few. The fourth race does start out that late pick 5. It has an approximate post time, about 3:34 Pacific. So that's 5:34 here in the evening in the Central Time Zone. Fourth race starts us off with a 5.5 furlong dirt sprint. These are California bred, first level allowance horses. And there's also a claim for 20,000 option claim. So that, gets a horse in here. And, as it happened yesterday, we had a nice long shot winner yesterday because putting in a horse running in a first level allowance race with some experience in for the claim. Those horses do come up and bite you in these California races. And, if you don't have them, it bites you. If you do have them, it makes for nice payoffs. So it is a factor here in this race. I'm going to put 3 horses in. Originally, I had 2, but I'm going to add the third horse in. I am going to put Billie Holiday, who's probably going to be your program, or is your program favorite, probably going to be your betting favorite. Steve Miotti, trainer here, off the long layoff. This horse had an exceptional maiden breaker, around the start of the Santa Anita meet last winter. And, Billie Holiday, apparently something went amiss. Miati's been working this horse out pretty steadily. Diego Herrera takes the call here. 5.5 furlongs. We'll see if we can get this horse off the rail and going. We'll put Billie Holiday in there. And then a horse that I do like here is the 3-horse Timekeeper's Charm. Now, last time this horse ran, I did mention this horse. We put this horse on a ticket. She was over 50-1 that day and ran a really nice race. Now, I've always had an eye on Timekeeper's Charm. She's by Not This Time. You don't see a whole lot of Calbreds by Not This Time. So, their owners went over to California, took their mare there, and ended up breeding the Not This Time. Now, Timekeeper's Charm probably hasn't delivered what they expected for that kind of stud fee. But every so often, she does come in with a nice race. Now, we're going to see that last time she ran at Del Mar, she did run a nice race. She finished 4th, ran some tough fractions. I could see her running a very similar race. I don't think this field is all too talented here. Timekeeper's Charm certainly can get it done here. Maybe we'll see that Not This Time bloodlines get shaken up here and show something here. We'll put Timekeeper's Charm in at 5-1. And then also we're going to put the 5-horse was Berry Valley. Berry Valley comes in for Librato Baraccio. And Baraccio, we normally at this time see him winning more races at Del Mar. He's got an 0 for here, 0 for 11. But, we've been seeing some of these trainers with light records winning races. It happened a few times yesterday. I made mention of that. It happened. Maybe Baraccio gets it done here with Berry Valley. Berry Valley comes in for the 20,000 claim price because she has already passed this level here, so they're putting her in for 20. She belongs here. 6-1. Kyle Frey takes the call. Frey's been riding this horse in her last, several starts here. She does show a decent record on turf and dirt. Maybe they're just trying to find a spot for her here. But as we've seen, these experienced horses that have come through these conditions and come in for the claim price in these Cal races, they do come in and win. So I could see Berry Valley maybe upsetting the field, here at 6-1. So we're going to put the 1, 3, and the 5 in the 4th race. All right, let's go to the 5th race of the day. 5th race is a 5-furlong turf sprint. These are open maiden special weights, and these are fillies or 3-year-olds and up, so open company here. I'm going to go with a single here. Now, we're doing this before scratch time. I don't think these also eligibles are going to be in this race. They're probably going to use those for a race later on down the road. So we're going to go with the thought that none of those are running. I'm going to single the 2-horse who is Seeking Attention. Seeking Attention comes in for Peter Urton. She's your program favorite at 5-2. Probably will be your betting favorite as well. So Peter Urton, trainer, his record's been light at Del Mar, only having 1 win from 21 starts. But as I mentioned, some of these trainers will get going. Urton certainly could win races. This horse comes off a last effort was over in Santa Anita in early June. You know, her last couple races on the turf at Santa Anita certainly put her into play here. I think the position, the 2-hole, certainly will be a good thing for her. I think she certainly got the speed to get out and lead him if she wants, or she can just sit in and get a nice trip now. Armando Ayuso riding pretty well. He can certainly get it done anywhere, turf, dirt, sprint route. He can get it done. I think Ayuso puts her in the right spot, and she comes running at the end. So we're going to single Seeking Attention, the 2-horse, in the 5th race. All right, let's go to the 6th race of the day. 6th race, $40,000 open claimer. So these are, your old war horses there in Southern California nowadays, running for that claim tag. They're going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Definitely a field of woolly veterans, if you will. Horses that have done some nice things, maybe horses that are coming down on the career path, on the downward slide of their career path. I'm going to put 3 horses in. I feel one of these 3 should get our ticket advanced. We're going to put the 3-horse who is For All Mankind for John Sadler. Antonio Frasu takes the call. This horse, certainly has run some nice races in his past, some sprint races. This horse, I think, is going to just lead the field here. For a 6-furlong sprint race, I don't know that there's really that high octane horses in this race. So For All Mankind, being a horse with a lot of experience, 24 starts, 13 in the money finishes there, possibly could lead him and upset everyone at the $40,000 level. So dropping into this, maybe make this horse a little faster. Frasu on him, 6-1. We'll put For All Mankind. Going to put the 4-horse who was Red Flag for Jeff Mullins. This horse sports a really nice record at Del Mar with 4 of his 9 career wins coming at Del Mar. Certainly could, do it well on the sprint end here. This horse, has run with some of the better sprinters in North America as well, certainly in California. I mean, he came second to Cornucopia back in January, the ill-fated Cornucopia. Sorry to hear about what happened to him, but he ran a nice second to him. Ran, with Simple Song. Simple Song's a pretty speedy individual, and then came third to Captivator. Captivator in his last start, in Red Flag's last start, came third to Captivator. Captivator went on to win a nice sprint race at Del Mar, probably one of the faster races we've seen all meeting. So Red Flag 3-1, dropping in for 40. Could make this race or make this horse faster here. Jeff Mullins, certainly dangerous barn, puts Tiago Pereira on him. Pereira doesn't ride all that often. It seems like this might be one of the few horses he does ride for Mullins. So 3-1, we'll put Red Flag. And then finally, we're going to put the 5-horse who was Ghost of Midnight for Sean Williams and Diego Herrera. Now, I got Herrera in here twice in this pick 5 so far. I hope that he, flew very nicely into California, nice rested flight from Florida, and is ready to run today, because Diego Herrera has been riding kind of part-time at Gulfstream Park, at Del Mar. I don't know if that's the best idea, but something that they're doing there. So anyway, Ghost of Midnight, I could see this horse. There's a pace meltdown, which there could be. As I mentioned, I didn't see a lot of speed, but in those kind of races, you might have 3 jocks have the same idea and all get out and fly. Ghost of Midnight could certainly be a horse to pick it up here. This horse certainly has some back class. Also a good record at Del Mar. 2 of his 6 wins are at Del Mar. Horse definitely could sprint. So Ghost of Midnight, I think, at this level, could be a factor here. Maybe, brushing by in the stretch. We'll see. So we've got the 3, 4, and the 5 here in the 6th race. All right, let's go to the 7th race of the day. The 7th race is a mile on the grass, so 2-turn grass race. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And this is a second-level allowance race. So certainly a nice field, second-level allowance horses here. I was going to put all and just move on. But, I just took 2 horses out. I took out both Leonard Powell horses. Powell's barn not been going too well lately. We'll see. I don't see either of his horses having a chance, but I do feel like the one, Canto della Terra, can certainly win. My hesitation is Ricardo Gonzalez. Not sure what he's doing on horses lately, but he hasn't been winning. But Phil D'Amato sticks with him here. Canto della Terra is certainly a talented individual. We'll see if Gonzalez can get it done at 3-1. Going to put the 2 horse was Tahini. Tahini for George Papadromo, Antonio Fresu. This horse's speed. Get out there and go. I don't know that anyone can head this horse in the beginning stages of the race. We'll see if Tahini could take his speed, 2 turns and make it happen. Horse certainly has run well at Del Mar, 2 wins out of 5 starts on the turf course there. So we'll put Tahini. Going to put the 4 horse was Raw Ability for John Sadler. Umberto Rispoli takes the call here. Now this horse started out his career here in North America very promising. I know they had some really high hopes for Raw Ability with 2 wins in a row there. Something I guess went amiss. The Sadler barn, crafty barn they are. They're putting this horse in for the $100,000 tag because this horse is already, past these conditions. So that's what makes her eligible here. I think it's a good move. If someone wants to claim Raw Ability for $100,000, they should be happy that happened. But Raw Ability certainly has the ability to win this race. She's 5-2 with Rispoli, and then also going to put Pura, the 5 horse, Pura Vida Princesa for Doug O'Neill. Joe Bravo takes the call. She comes out of the nice race, the same race as Canto della Terra did. Joe Bravo, as we've seen, has done some nice work on the turf course at Del Mar, certainly in upset positions. 6-1 in the program. Maybe, Joe Bravo catches him sleeping like he's done a couple times with a masterful ride. And, Bravo certainly has a chance here with this horse, coming off a nice race at this same level last time, coming third. This horse has 3 starts at Del Mar, a second and 2 thirds. So certainly has been on the seaside, can possibly get it done here. So we got the 1, 2, 4, and 5 in the 7th race. All right, let's go to the last race of the day. Last race is the 8th race. These are maiden $50,000 claimers, state-bred claimers, and these are 2-year-olds, 5.5 furlongs on the dirt. So, as I've talked about before, when they're putting the horses in for $50,000 as 2-year-olds this early, I don't really take that $50,000 into much consideration. I feel like these are give-ups, so you just have to handicap it that way. Who knows, maybe a horse can pop here and become something, but I feel like, these are probably going to be, your bottom-run claimers going forward. I'm going to put 3 horses in this race. I feel like one of these 3 can get it done for us. We're going to put the 2 horse was Papa's Charlie. Manuel Badia is the trainer, and Tiago Pereira on the horse here. Pereira, I think, has a couple live rides. He had a nice win yesterday in the card, so Pereira has a couple live ones. This horse drops into 50 after a couple starts in the maiden special weight ranks over at Santa Anita in this past spring, summer. I think this horse ran in a couple live ones there. I think the drop is necessary because this horse has a hard time getting out of the gate, ends up rushing up, probably spending all of his energy in that first 3/8 of a mile, and just can't finish up. So we'll see if Pereira can get this horse out and going. Should be able to. The drops into a maiden claiming race should make this horse faster. 5-1 Papa's Charlie is dangerous. Going to put the 6 horse with Stanford Warrior for Jorge Paraban. Ismael Jaramil is on the horse. Now this horse, in his debut, he lost a rider. The horse got knocked around pretty good at the gate, lost a rider, and just ran on and ran without the jock. Now, if you watch the replay, you'll see this horse actually, was a factor throughout. He rushed up after that bad start, was leading the field and was right there at the end, running riderless, but still it shows you the horse could probably run, and that's probably why he was a favorite that day. George Parabon makes the move to put this horse into $50,000 claiming level horses here. I don't see it as a panic drop. Parabon trains for these owners, Tri-Car Stables, and they're aggressive. They probably want to win a race at Del Mar. So 3-1 Stanford Warrior fits. And finally going to put the 8 horse was No Limit. No Limit for Craig Lewis. Several changes with this horse. A lot of changes for a horse only making his second start. First time gelding, first time blinkers on, change of riders to Rosario. So, I guess they figured out there were some things in that first race in a maiden special weight. Drops into 50, 6-1 with Rosario. That outside post certainly could make a difference, especially with all these changes. We'll let the Craig Lewis barn give them all the credit in the world. They see reasons why they needed to put blinkers on, geld the horse, put Rosario on. I think all those 3 could really work out well for no limit. 6-1. We'll see if the horse goes off that price. I'm going to guess a little lower. Rosario horses have been getting bet a lot. So to cap it off, we've got the 2, 6, and 8 in the 8th race. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the bets. Okay, so for Del Mar, Friday, August 21st, we're going to play that late pick 5. And the late pick 5 does start out in the 4th race. In the 4th race, we're going to start it out with the 1, 3, 5. With the 2. With the 3, 4, 5. With the 1, 2, 4, 5. With the 2, 6, and 8. Now today, that pick 5 ticket is a $54 ticket. If you see fit, you want to play as is, I wish you the best of luck. You can always add or subtract to that ticket, whatever you feel, whatever's in your bankroll. If you don't want to play the pick 5, you can play the pick 4, play the pick 3s within it, even the turf pick 3. Those all seem to be nice bets. Whatever you decide to do, I wish you the best of luck. Let's wish the folks over at Del Mar a very safe day of racing. Let's wish ourselves some good trips. And, we know that makes a difference between winning and losing, so let's hope we can get some good trips today at Del Mar. So as always, I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses Today and listening to the picks. Thanks to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so, do me a favor, hit that subscriber button. It really helps me out to get that base up, and as well as, delivers the content to you for free. So you can always like, dislike, make comments. Good comments, bad comments. I promise to respond to everything. Let's make it a good day on this Friday over at Del Mar, where the turf meets the surf. We'll see you back this weekend for more coverage, including the Pacific Classic.